Hi, my name is Larry Donahue, and I've been a business, IP, and corporate lawyer for the past 30 years. In several past videos, I've talked about anonymous LLCs. One of the big questions I get is, can I make my existing company anonymous? And the answer to that is not really, but it's qualified. Let me explain. So if you have an existing company, let's say you're in Florida, look up your company at Sunbiz. Search Sunbiz and then go and look at your company. What you're going to see is a bunch of information about current ownership information, members and or managers. You're going to see organizer, you're going to see registered agent, you're going to see the physical mailing address. So a lot of that stuff you can change, except the organizer. You cannot change the organizer. That's going to be there forever. But the problem with Sunbiz is there's a history of information related to the company. It's going to take an internet researcher 3 seconds to look at those other documents and see maybe who formed the company, what's been happening. So it's imperfect. You can change the current information that pops up in just about any state other than the organizer, but most states are going to have that history that's available. So you have to ask yourself, how important is that? So I have victims of abuse. I have stalking victims of crime that are worried about their former perpetrators finding out where they're at. It's probably not a good idea to take the existing company and try and make it anonymous. It's not going to work. Other people don't have those issues so much, so you really have to evaluate whether you want to make an effort here to at least change the current information, even though it's easy to look up past information. My general recommendation is if privacy and anonymity is important to you, to really start over. How do you do that? You form in a new anonymous structure, depending on the state you're in. If you're in California, which is different from all the other states, we form a California LLC that you own, but is managed by a New Mexico LLC. New Mexico, because it's the least expensive, it's non-operating, it's not moving cash around, it's not doing anything other than managing the California LLC. If you're in another state like Illinois, Texas, Florida, you're going to have a operating entity at the bottom. It's going to be owned by a anonymous LLC holding company at the top. In Wyoming or New Mexico, depending on how it's taxed, it will own the operating entity, and then you will own the holding company. And by doing that, you create an anonymous structure. And here's the issue, naming. What you want to do is pick a new naming scheme, ideally, different from the existing company. Then you dissolve the existing company.